Bridget. How are you doing? Bridget, everyone wants to know if you want to make a move back into Hollywood.
No.
Is there a chance?
No.
Bridget Fonda, Hollywood royalty with a name that carried sky-high expectations, carved her path to stardom. From luxury life to Hollywood success with hit roles in The Godfather Part 3 and Single White Female, Fonda became a 90s star. But what happened to her after the massive success of Single White Female? The answer might surprise you. Let's take a closer look. Before we proceed further, let's start from the beginning. Bridget Fonda comes from one of Hollywood's most famous families. Her grandfather, Henry Fonda, was a huge movie star who won an Oscar for his last movie in 1981. Her father, Peter, and Aunt Jane also became big stars in Hollywood. That was a lot of pressure for a young girl to handle. Growing up, Bridget felt this pressure every day. Her dad even told her it was like having to climb Mount Everest 4 times, once for each Fonda actor who came before her, and then again for herself. Bridget once told the Guardian newspaper that everyone expected me to be good automatically, which wasn't easy for her.
You okay?
You were gonna let them kill me!
And I wasn't gonna let anything happen to you.
You pig! You sick fuck!
Come on, sweetheart, that's gambling. You want gambling? That's gambling. Call the police.
In the 1990s, Bridget started making a name for herself in Hollywood. After some small roles, she got a part in The Godfather Part 3 in 1990. Then in 1992, she starred in her first big movie, Single White Female.
Please. Please. I'm not like your sister, Henny.
The movie critics weren't super excited about it, but lots of people went to see it. It made 5 times more money than it cost to make. This showed Hollywood that Bridget could be a leading actress. That same year, she was in another movie called Singles that critics really liked. For the next few years, she was in several successful movies.
Hey. Going out?
Yep. You.
Yeah.
That's a very nice hat you're wearing, and I don't mean that in an Eddie Haskell kind of way.
But as the 1990s were ending, things started getting harder. Her movie Lake Placid in 1999 didn't make enough money, and critics didn't like her acting in it. Then she was in a movie called Monkey Bone that lost a lot of money. It cost $75 million to make, but only made $7.6 million.
They have to stop this. Those dolls have been tampered with. They're toxic.
Oh, that's okay. Hey, no problem.
No.
Monkey Bone? Back in the pack. Stu?
In the mid-1990s, Bridget made a big decision that changed her career path. She was offered the main role in a TV show called Ally McBeal. Back then, being in TV shows wasn't as prestigious as being in movies. Most movie actors thought taking a TV role meant their career was going downhill. So Bridget said no to the role, which ended up going to Callista Flockhart instead. When asked later if she regretted not taking the role in Ally McBeal, which became a huge hit, Bridget was honest about it. She told the New York Post, "I'm not kicking myself for having passed on Ally McBeal. I've been acting long enough to know it could have been a complete dud with me in it. It may work as well as it does because of Callista."
But to actually do, it was kind of hard. It was scary. It was a tough summer emotionally. I went through a lot on the movie, and as much as I was excited to get it out of myself, it's just like you're exercising some fears and things.
But wait, there is more. In 2001, Bridget tried to get her career back on track with an action movie called Kiss of the Dragon with Jet Li.
Excuse me? Can I use your toilet?
No.
While this movie did better than her recent films, it wasn't the big comeback she hoped for. After one more movie called The Whole Shebang, she stopped appearing in theater movies completely. She then changed her mind about TV work and took some television roles. She appeared in The Chris Isaak Show and starred in a TV movie called The Snow Queen. But then something happened that would change everything. In February 2003, Bridget was in a serious car accident. The accident happened on a rainy day when her Jaguar went off the Pacific Coast Highway. She was alone in the car and broke 2 vertebrae in her back. While she recovered from her injuries, she lost out on a role in a TV show called The Practice. Interestingly, this show was created by the same person who made Ally McBeal, so it would have been her second chance to work with him. In November 2003, about 9 months after her car accident, Bridget's life took a new turn when she married Danny Elfman, a musician and composer who writes music for movies. They had met during the making of a movie called A Simple Plan in 1998, which turned out to be one of Bridget's most successful films. Critics loved it so much it got a 90% rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
Is that what you think you want? Walking off to the feed store every morning for the next 30 years waiting for Tom Butler to retire or die so you can finally get a raise? What about Amanda? You think she's gonna like growing up in somebody else's hand-me-down clothes?
Bridget and Danny kept their relationship very private. Nobody really knew they were dating or even that they were engaged until they got married. In 2005, they had a baby boy named Oliver, and that's when Bridget decided to stop acting completely. For a while, Bridget and Danny would sometimes go to movie events together, but these appearances became less and less frequent. The last time people saw Bridget at public events was in 2009. She went to 2 movie premieres that year, Inglourious Bastards and Taking Woodstock, with her husband. The very last time anyone saw pictures of her was at a Christmas party that same year, which her Aunt Jane Fonda wrote about on her website. In 2019, something sad happened. Bridget's father, Peter Fonda, died from lung cancer at age 79. Many people thought Bridget might say something publicly about her dad's death, but she chose to stay quiet. Instead, the whole Fonda family released one statement together, asking for privacy while they grieved. The only family member who spoke individually was Bridget's Aunt Jane, who called Peter her sweetheart baby brother. Living in Los Angeles makes it hard to stay out of the spotlight, but Bridget did a pretty good job of it for many years. During the COVID-19 pandemic, something interesting happened. Bridget and her family spent more time at their ranch in Santa Barbara, and they realized they liked it better there than in Los Angeles. They decided to make a big change and move to Santa Barbara permanently. They own 2 big houses next to each other in Los Angeles in an area called Hancock Park. In December 2020, they sold the bigger house for $8.75 million and left city life behind. For 12 whole years after her last public appearance in 2009, nobody saw Bridget in public. She didn't do any interviews, didn't make any statements, and stayed away from social media completely. But in 2022, photographers finally spotted her out and about. When they asked if she would ever come back to Hollywood, she gave a simple answer. I don't think so. It's too nice being a civilian. Looking back at old interviews from when she was still acting, we can see that Bridget was never really comfortable with fame. She once said in an interview, "What is it with my low self-esteem? I'm trying to be happy with my career. I think I should give myself a break, but I've got this bug that rides me. You should be doing better." Now, Bridget seems much happier living a quiet life away from Hollywood. She chose family and peace over fame, which is pretty rare in the entertainment world. She proved that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is walk away from something that doesn't make you happy anymore, even if it's something that other people might think is amazing. Today, Bridget spends her time with her family in Santa Barbara, far from the Hollywood spotlight she grew up in. She seems to have found the peace and happiness she was looking for, showing that there can be a great life after Hollywood if that's what you choose. If you enjoyed the video, please like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for new updates.
After John Van Damme, who is the next? Nobody. Why?
Bolo Yeung breaks his silence on the mystery of Bruce Lee's death. After decades of secrecy, he's revealing the hidden truths Hollywood never wanted you to know. What really happened on Bruce's final day, and could the shadow of organized crime have played a role? These shocking revelations from Lee's closest circle might finally uncover the dark forces that shaped his tragic end. Don't miss this explosive story before it's too late. Before exploring the explosive revelations, we must understand the man behind them. Bolo Yeung's fascination with martial arts began in his youth, where he discovered an unwavering passion for physical discipline. This wasn't just any ordinary interest, it was an all-consuming dedication that would shape his entire life. His first major achievement came through bodybuilding, a pursuit where his extraordinary commitment earned him the coveted title of Mr. Hong Kong. This wasn't a fleeting victory. Jung dominated the scene for an impressive decade, showcasing the relentless determination that would later define his film career. The late 1960s marked Jung's transition into cinema, perfectly coinciding with Hong Kong's booming film industry. Starting with small, often uncredited roles, Jung viewed each opportunity not just as a job, but as a stepping stone toward greater heights. His muscular physique and intense screen presence made him a natural choice for villainous roles, a typecasting that many might have resented but which Jung transformed into his signature strength. Jung's pivotal moment came with The Heroic Ones, where director Chang Che cast him as an unyielding warrior. His ability to stand out in a crowded cast caught the attention of industry insiders, leading to roles that emphasized his impressive physical stature and martial arts prowess. On each set, his dedication was evident, as he developed a unique ability to convey complex emotions through minimal dialogue and powerful body language. Who could have predicted that a simple cigarette commercial would bring together two of martial arts cinema's most iconic figures? The Winston cigarette advertisement shoot became the unlikely setting for Jung's first encounter with Bruce Lee. This meeting would prove transformative, as Lee recognized qualities in Jung that others had overlooked. Their professional relationship reached its pinnacle with Enter the Dragon, a film that would become a cornerstone of martial arts cinema. Despite their intense on-screen rivalry, Lee and Jung developed a deep friendship off-camera, with Lee serving as both colleague and mentor. Lee's own journey to stardom was anything but conventional. Born in the United States in 1940, he began his martial arts training at 13 under the legendary Yip Man, studying Wing Chun. His education wasn't limited to physical combat. At the University of Washington, Lee developed his revolutionary martial arts style, Jeet Kune Do, emphasizing practicality and adaptability over rigid traditional forms. His teaching career, beginning in Seattle and expanding to Oakland and Los Angeles, strategically positioned him within Hollywood's orbit.
The tiger that start like a tiger, using claw to claw the face, or the beak of the crane to the eyes move.
While his role as Kato in The Green Hornet showcased his skills, the show's limited run constrained his impact in America. Ironically, it was in Hong Kong where the show made him a star. Though this recognition did little to break down Hollywood's stereotypical casting barriers. Frustrated with limited opportunities in America, Lee returned to Hong Kong, where he quickly landed a starring role in The Big Boss, 1971. The film shattered box office records and established him as a leading figure in Asian cinema. His subsequent films, Fist of Fury and Way of the Dragon, where he served as actor, writer, and director, elevated his status further. Enter the Dragon represented a groundbreaking collaboration between US and Hong Kong film industries. The film's massive success, generating over $200 million globally, should have launched Lee into unprecedented stardom. Instead, it became his final proof to martial arts cinema, as he passed away at just 32 years old. The events of Lee's final day began normally enough. He met with his producer in Hong Kong, discussing his next project, The Game of Death. Later, he visited actress Betty Ting Pei's apartment, where he complained of a headache, a symptom he'd been experiencing alongside seizures recently. Betty offered him a pill containing a tranquilizer for relief. What was intended as a short rest became eternal silence. When Lee didn't wake for dinner, Betty's attempts to rouse him failed. Despite rushed efforts to save him at Queen Elizabeth Hospital, Bruce Lee was pronounced dead. The official cause of death was listed as acute cerebral edema, severe brain swelling. This condition, doctors explained, resulted from an adverse reaction to the medication's ingredients, particularly the tranquilizer component. The swelling compressed vital brain structures and blood vessels, disrupting blood flow and oxygen supply to the brain. Cerebral edema can arise from various causes, including head injuries, strokes, brain tumors, infections, and metabolic disorders. Symptoms typically include headaches, nausea, vision problems, and mental state changes. In severe cases, it can lead to seizures, unconsciousness, and death. However, some believe Lee's death wasn't accidental. A persistent theory suggests involvement of the Chinese triad, powerful criminal organizations with deep roots in Hong Kong's entertainment industry. According to these theories, Li's refusal to pay protection money made him a target. The Chinese triad's history dates back to the 17th century, originally forming as secret societies opposing the Qing dynasty. Over time, they evolved into organized criminal enterprises, particularly powerful in Hong Kong, Macau, and Taiwan after the 1949 establishment of the People's Republic of China. Supporters of the triad theory point to several suspicious elements: the presence of Betty Ting Pei and her allegedly inconsistent statements, the unusually quick conclusion of the death investigation, Li's decision to start his own production company, potentially threatening established studios with triad connections, the subsequent mysterious death of Li's son Brandon years later. Jung's recent disclosures shed new light on Li's character in Final Days. He shares stories of Li's generosity as a mentor, including an incident where Li handled a challenging movie extra with both skill and grace. According to Jung, Li's approach to martial arts extended beyond physical technique to encompass diet, philosophy, and personal development. Bruce Li's impact on martial arts and cinema remains profound. He challenged racial stereotypes in Hollywood, revolutionized martial arts choreography, and inspired countless followers. His sudden death at the height of his career only amplified his legendary status. The role of Hong Kong's complex political and social landscape cannot be ignored. The British colonial government's hands-off approach to certain areas, particularly the notorious Kowloon Walled City, allowed criminal organizations to flourish. During the 1960s, an estimated 1 in 6 Hong Kong residents had some connection to triad groups. Today, the triad's influence continues, though their operations have evolved to include money laundering, fraud, and human trafficking. The Hong Kong Police's Organized Crime and Triad Bureau estimates up to 100,000 active triad members currently operate in Hong Kong. Despite decades of speculation and investigation, many questions remain. Why did the official investigation conclude so quickly? What was Betty Ting Pei's true role in the events? Could Li's death have been prevented with better medical attention? Was there a broader conspiracy involving the entertainment industry and criminal organizations? Following Li's death, Jung emerged as a prominent figure in martial arts cinema, maintaining the disciplined approach to physical training and diet that Li had emphasized. His career serves as a living proof to Li's influence and teachings. Whether one accepts the official explanation or suspects a darker conspiracy, Bruce Li's death remains one of Hollywood's most intriguing mysteries. The timing of Bolo Yeung's revelations coming near the end of his own life adds new layers to this enduring enigma. The story of Bruce Li's death continues to captivate audiences worldwide, reflecting our endless fascination with legendary figures who leave us too soon. Through Jung's revelations, we gain not just new insights into Li's final days, but a deeper appreciation for the complex world of 1970s Hong Kong cinema and the powerful forces that shaped it. As we reflect on these revelations, one question remains. Will we ever know the complete truth about Bruce Li's death, or will it remain one of cinema's greatest unsolved mysteries? The debate continues, but Li's impact on martial arts and entertainment remains undimmed, his legacy living on through those who knew him best, including his friend and co-star, Bolo Yeung.
Today's service was much quieter. The guests were admitted by invitation only, and there were only 200 of those sent out. A few fans without invitations showed up at the door, but they were quietly turned away.
In the shadowy world of martial arts legends, few stories have captured public imagination quite like the mysterious death of Bruce Li. For decades, Chuck Norris, Li's closest friend and training partner, maintained a stoic silence about the circumstances surrounding the Dragon's untimely passing. Now, after years of speculation, Norris has finally broken his silence, revealing shocking details that challenge everything we thought we knew about Li's final days. The story begins in 1967 at the prestigious All-American Karate Championship in Madison Square Garden. Two rising stars of the martial arts world were about to cross paths in a moment that would change both their lives forever. Bruce Lee, already making waves with his groundbreaking Hong Kong films The Big Boss and Fist of Fury, watched from the sidelines as Chuck Norris dominated the competition. Despite their different backgrounds and styles, both men recognized in each other a kindred spirit, a dedication to martial arts that transcended mere physical combat. After the tournament, Lee approached Norris with an unusual proposition. "Don't you live in LA?" he asked. "I do too. Why don't we start training together?" This simple question would lead to one of the most legendary partnerships in martial arts history. Training in Lee's backyard became a daily ritual. It was here that both men would push each other to new heights of excellence. Norris, standing 5 feet 10 inches and weighing 160 pounds, was amazed by Lee's ability to generate incredible power from his compact 5 feet 7 inches, 140-pound frame. Within 6 months of their training sessions, Lee had mastered high kicks that rivaled Norris's own expertise, a technique he had previously dismissed as impractical. Their friendship reached its cinematic pinnacle in 1972 with Way of the Dragon. The film's climactic fight scene, set in Rome's ancient Colosseum,